Welcome to a brand new season of the NFBC Minute. I'm Sam. I'm here with John. How you doing, John?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
Good to see
you.
you.
We're gonna meet John in just a minute, but he's gonna be our first guest on this first episode of a brand new season of the NFBC Minute, and want to welcome you here. NFBC, Niagara Frontier Bible Church. If you haven't tuned into a minute yet, that's what it stands for, Niagara Frontier Bible Church. And we are here on 5287 Bronson Drive in Lewiston, New York. I'm Sam. I'm the lead pastor here. Right now we're going through the book of Ephesians. So we invite you to join us on Sunday and be with us. I really think Ephesians, I don't want to stop preaching it. I'm thrilled. It's just such an exciting. I love all the Bible, but it's such an exciting book.
Well, don't just start over back at
right. Just preach Ephesians forever, right?
Do it twice.
It's just so encouraging. It's just like so come. If you've missed, if you haven't had a chance to hear any of our sermons yet, or you missed them, they are online, available for you there. And this Sunday, though, actually, we have a special guest, another missionary that we work with, because you're really one of our missionaries when you think about it. We support the gospel mission, but we're going to have Rod Whitney with Word of Life this Sunday, and he's going to be preaching with us. And in a couple weeks, actually, is Reverb. It's an all-night youth event, so I won't be getting any sleep that night. So we'll have Rod with us on this Sunday to talk about a little bit about his ministry, and he's also going to give us a message from the Word. But today we have John Cooper, and John just came back into town. March of this year?
January, end of January.
End of January of 2022.
Yep.
And let's let him tell you a little bit about why he came here in January and what's going on in his life.
Yeah, so I'm from Niagara Falls area, New York. And then,
originally.
And then I went to the United States Army, did 6 years in the Army, and then upon getting out, stayed a few months up there. I was a minister of military ministry up in Watertown, and then outside of Fort Drum, and then we came back here in end of January, and I started working at the Niagara Gospel Mission.
And just a cool fact, when you were out in the military, you were actually part of a church plant
in Afghanistan.
In Afghanistan, yeah. Right, yeah. In Afghanistan,
that was an interesting time. So
yeah, well, maybe you could talk a little bit about that on the other show.
Yeah, on the 30-minute version.
Yeah, which we'll
got to tune into.
You got to tune into. We'll tell you. You got to get your app to get that one. We'll tell you about that in a minute. No pun intended. But anyway, so you're working. You're a intern pastor at Niagara Community Church.
Correct.
Right now,
yeah.
And then you're also the director of development at the Niagara Gospel Mission.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about those two things? Maybe focus a little more on the mission here, as that's our church supports that ministry. What new and exciting things have been going on there, and then a little bit about what you're doing at Niagara Community too.
Yeah, so I'll do Niagara Community because it'll be a lot shorter.
Sure.
When I came back, I didn't know if I'd be staying in the Niagara Falls area or not. If we were going to go, my wife is from Georgia, so we didn't know if we were going to go down south. So I took an internship at the Niagara Community Church, and since we're staying, it's been a good internship. I've been learning a lot about pastoral ministry there under Tom Martin as our senior pastor. And so that's kind of sums up all that.
But you guys are on Cayuga Drive.
Correct.
What's the address?
It's 10500 Cayuga.
All right. So you could check them out, too. They're a good Bible preaching church over there. We appreciate what they're doing.
Yeah.
All right. The mission now.
Now, the mission, so our goal at the mission is I'm going to read from Luke 4, verse 18 right now. And I'll give him a minute to get there, and if you have your Bibles.
Again, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Right? Have a lot of fun with that minute thing. All right, Luke 4.
Luke 4:18.
Luke 4:18.
So Jesus comes to Nazareth, and he's starting his ministry in Nazareth, and he says this, and he's quoting Isaiah 61 verse 1 and 2, and he says, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because He anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor." Recovery of the sight to the blind, to set free those who are oppressed, and proclaim the favorable year of our Lord. And this is what our whole mission is at, no pun intended, right? At the mission, and our gospel mission, is to preach the gospel to the poor. is to liberate the oppressed that come to us. They're oppressed by drugs, they're oppressed by whatever has led them there, alcoholism, and we are, with the power of the gospel, it's not us, but we present the gospel to them, and the Spirit of the Lord is what really moves in these men's lives and breaks them free of addictions. We help people who are needy as well, in the whole community, not just the men that come.
Well, it's also spiritually poor, but also physically, materially poor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so when I was in Afghanistan, we got attached to special operations, which again we can talk more about that in the longer version. Mm-hmm. But the special forces guys that we worked with a lot, their motto was to liberate the oppressed. And so I'm kind of bringing that to us as the gospel is what liberates the oppressed, and through your guys' support as a church, we're able to bring that gospel to them freely without worrying about the state coming down on us and stuff like that.
Yeah, you all have stood strong on that, and that's fantastic. One of the things that you've brought was a veterans shelter. You want to talk about that for a moment?
Yeah, so we started a whole veterans program, and so this has 3 aspects to it. The first is our Liberty Suite, which is a 8-bed shelter, emergency for.
I've seen it. It's nice.
Yeah, for homeless men.
Work in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and they come in off the street. They're in whatever situation they're in, and we put them in there for 30 days. It's the same as our regular overnight shelter, but it's specifically for veterans. This also frees up 8 beds in our actual shelter that we can help 8 more people. So there's that, and then there's getting them attached to the VA. For all Veteran Affairs Office, for all their services that they have. A lot of them don't even know the services they have. So this enables them to get in there, get the services they need, and we can work with the VA on that. And then third is a veteran support group, which if you're a veteran out there, you are more than welcome to come to. And it meets every other Monday, the first and third Monday of the month at 6:30
at Niagara Community.
At Niagara Community Church. We bring the veterans there, so it's kind of a neutral ground, and then they... then we all share our experiences, and then we always get back to the Word, because that's where the power is.
Fantastic. And by the way, he's John Cooper Jr. Your dad has been in the area and has been involved with all these things.
Correct.
And from different angles and capacities. He's on the, he's one of the, in fact, he heads the board at the mission, and he's over there in Niagara Community too. So his dad's a great guy too. So they're doing good stuff. So John didn't just come here with no connections.
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah. Oh no.
But and then a last thing I'll mention in our short minute, which is already 7 minutes. Don't worry, Pastor Tom and I always did this. Yeah. I like what you're doing on Thursday nights. He added a new thing on Thursday night. They have a chapel service every Thursday from 6:30 to 7:30, and they bring in pastors from all around the area. They vet who comes in, and you're going to get a good, solid biblical message. What they do, it's every Thursday from 6:30 to 7:30, and they're going through John, right?
Yep.
There might be some special speakers here and there, messages, but it's mostly John consecutively, right?
Yeah.
From here on out. So
from 1:1 to 21,
right.
whatever it is. In
fact, I got to start getting mine ready.
November 10th.
November 10th, yeah. And you're expecting a baby, so everybody keep them in prayer for that. And we are too, just not as soon as you. So, well, John, it's really been great to have you. This little quote-unquote minute is a short version, but now we have the NFBC Cast. I want to tell you about that for a minute. That's a new thing we're doing. That is a podcast that's longer than the minute. We can get more in depth with things. It's kind of a radio program type style, and you can only get that on the NFBC channel. There is one, I can't remember which, there is another podcast service you can get it on. So there is one other. I can't remember if it's Spotify or one of those. But the point is the NFBC Cast, except for that one podcast service and our app, the NFBC channel, you can't get the cast on YouTube. It's not on Rumble. It's not on Facebook, like all our other stuff. It's only on our channel, which includes our website too, and this one service that I'll find out at some point. But we really want you to. We're trying to get you to download the NFBC channel. Download it so that you can check out our podcast, the NFBC Cast. where John will be, and we're gonna get in much more detail here a little bit about his time in the service, right?
And look, I even have the app.
He even has it. So download your app today so that you can check out the NFBC cast and continuation of conversation with John. Until then, live every minute for his glory, and we'll see you next minute.